Hey, all my Crimsonites, and welcome to the Crimson Cure channel, where we embrace our femininity, increase our womanly values, and celebrate our brothers. So join me on our feminine journey to learn, heal, and grow. Hey there, my Crimsonites, and welcome to the Crimson Cure channel. I'm your hostess, femininity coach, and author of The Crimson Cure, and this was my perspective. So I got a clip here of a lady who I think she's supposed to be like a marriage coach or a relationship coach or something like that. And I just want y'all to listen to what she's saying. I'm not even going to recap what she's saying. Just take a listen.
Would stop saying this whole "I want a woman that will be my peace" thing. No, we're not here to be your peace. We're here to be our own peace. You need to work on being your own peace, and then we can have a collaborative United Nations of peace. But you can't be wanting a woman to come into your world representing peace while you're representing war. You're living chaotically. You don't provide a stable home. You create lots of insecurity. You don't know how to communicate. You're emotionally unavailable. There is not going to be peace. There is going to be war. There is going to be crazy chaos going on. So stop asking for somebody else to come into your life to be peace, and start working on how you can be peace within yourself. Then you find a woman who is equally peaceful people, and then you have a peaceful relationship. I wish men would stop saying this.
So I'm gonna tell you what problem I got with this. The first statement: stop asking for women to come be your peace, because that's not a woman's job. Yes, it is. It is a woman's job. It is part of the station of wifehood to maintain or to control your chaotic impulses as a woman. As I've said many times before, women are naturally chaotic because that chaos is a part of feminine energy to begin with. If a woman has impulse control, if she can, for the most part, control her emotional responses and her chaotic nature, that in and of itself is a type of peace that she has. When a man says, "Be my peace," he means don't be an unreasonable amount of trouble to me. Okay? He's saying don't be an unreasonable amount of trouble for me. All women are going to be some level of trouble for men because of our chaotic nature. Men are going to want to bring order to it. And so that's going to present a problem. Now, it might not be an insurmountable problem. It might not even be a problem that's too bothersome for him. But at the same time, women come with problems to solve. Okay? No matter who she is, right? Now, the only thing that he's saying is, listen, don't let your chaotic nature present so many problems that I, A, can't solve them, B, don't want to solve them because it's too consistent. Don't come into my life without some sort of impulse control. And don't bring all of your trouble into my life and make my life chaotic. And now I'm running around like a chicken with his head cut off, trying to put out all of your fires. And I'll be so consumed with doing that that I can't really maintain what I've already got going in my life. So basically, get on the program. Don't be super combative. Don't start pulling the other way. If you're going to come to with me in this relationship, then you've got to be moving in the same direction I'm moving. You cannot be moving in the opposite direction, because that in and of itself is going to cause a lot of problems. It's going to cause a chaotic environment. It's going to cause a non-peaceful environment. She immediately goes into the toxicity of certain men. She goes into describing a toxic male. She goes into describing men who aren't healed, who don't know how to communicate, who already have a lot of trouble and chaos in their life. And then they want you to come in and I guess bring the order to it and make sure that their life is not chaotic, which is not what women are even capable of doing in the first place. So she's like, she made an argument, then she made a straw man to her own argument, and then like battled that, which makes this entire clip not make a lot of sense from that standpoint. And then the misconception of some of the women in the comments that when a man asks for a woman to be his piece, that they mean don't have an opinion, don't have a voice. That is not what being peaceful in your relationship means. And now I'm talking to the ladies. Being peaceful in your relationship is not synonymous with being a mute in your relationship. Being peaceful in your relationship is not synonymous with not having a voice, not being able to express concern, not being able to express problems, not being able to bring anything to the forefront and have discussions with your husband about what may be going on in a relationship or whatever. Being peaceful doesn't mean hide all of your emotions in the interest of quote unquote not arguing and keeping the peace. Because if you can communicate properly, the discussions that you eventually are going to have in your relationship that may be uncomfortable, that may be difficult discussions to have, they don't have to be arguments. Okay. No one has to go below the belt. No one has to be outrageous. Even sometimes communication can be emotionally charged, right? The thing that has to be remembered is that when you are having conversations with your husband, and let's say these conversations are uncomfortable because maybe it's a conversation about a problem you having with him. Even if it's a conversation about an issue that you're having with him, it doesn't need to be a contentious conversation. Even though it's an emotionally charged or difficult one, even though you may be having a conversation with him about issues that you have with him, he's not necessarily the ops to you. He's not your opposition. This is an issue that you're hopefully looking for a solution for, and you are working towards it together. And all that this conversation is to make him aware of how you are perceiving this or how you are experiencing him in maybe this particular situation. So, because he may or may not be aware of how you're experiencing him and how maybe his actions or words or whatever have affected you. So, if it's important enough that you need to have a conversation about it, or what have you, it can be scary because you don't want to just have a blow up. You don't want to, what I'm saying, necessarily rock the boat if you quote unquote don't have to. But at the same time, we are called upon to be honest in relationships. It's just all about the approach. And sometimes we're not going to be able to curve off the anger. Sometimes we're not going to be able to communicate in a way where he don't get upset about what was said. As long as you stick to the issues and don't have accusatory tones, don't have, emasculation or belittlement in what you say, he can deal with his own emotions about what you said. Because if it's legit, he gonna have to deal with it. The same way as if he bring an issue to you, you may feel a way about it, but if the issue is legit, you eventually you're gonna have to deal with it. And it was up to him to bring it to your attention, even though he knew you wasn't gonna like it when he did bring it up. So this works both ways. All right. You got to be able to communicate That's what communication means in a relationship, being able to communicate well. It's not always communicate a lot or you talking all the time. It's how things are being expressed. Timing is important, tone is important, and making sure that you don't see each other as the opposition. You see each other as needing to be more of a team now than at any other time, because there's a little bit of trouble, there's a little bit of a challenge, there's a little bit of an issue that needs to be overcome. So right now we need to be tight knit, not separated, if that makes sense, right? So this is what being a man's piece means. You're not supposed to, as a woman, it's not your job, nor is it really within your wheelhouse and ability to come into a chaotic man's life and bring order to it, because that's actually a masculine position. And the imposition of order is a masculine part, is a masculine trait, and something that's supposed to be inherently within men. Women have very little ability to do that. We can do it to some degree, but we can't do it to the same degree as maybe a man that's really good at creating system, order, and structure, right? Because if we got to come into a man's life and put order to it, that means that he has to submit under our system, order, and structure in a relationship, in order, because we're the ones bringing order to his life. See how that mixes up, right? So that's the problem that I had with what she was talking about. She went right into what if the man is toxic, and like nobody's talking about that. And that kind of brings me to one last thing that I want to say. In all of these talks from these different podcasts, from people, you know what I'm saying, talk about relationships, everybody that want to talk about relationship dynamics and all that kind of stuff. Why is it that we can't talk about healthy relationship dynamics? That's the part that's really starting to get to me. We always, both men and women, we always revert back to what the hyena clan want and what they do and what they expect and their behavior. If we're trying to promote healthy relationships, then we have to start shifting the focus on what healthy men and healthy women desire and need and require out of a relationship, instead of falling back onto what if it's a toxic female? What if it's a toxic male? Don't we have enough examples of that? We need more examples of what happens with healthy people. What are the challenges that healthy relationships have? And how do we do that? How do we overcome these challenges from that perspective, rather than from the perspective of, you know, these chicks be out here doing this, this, and that, or these men be out here doing this, 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 and that. Just food for thought. Jump down in the comment section. Let me know what you think. Like, share, subscribe to the channel if you have not. Once again, I'm your host, Sister Crimson Cure, and this was my perspective. Bye-bye, Crimsonites.